The galaxy was quiet. Peace had lasted for over 100 years. The great wars were over. Most species forgot what true fear felt like. Trade routes were safe. The Galactic Council kept order. People believed nothing dangerous was left in the stars. But they forgot about Earth. Far on the edge of the galaxy, in a dark and silent zone, a signal pulsed. It was weak, old, and human. No one had heard from Earth in centuries. Many believed humans had destroyed themselves. Some thought they had gone extinct after their last war. Others thought they were just myths. But the signal was real, and it had a message. This is Earth Command. We are under attack. Requesting backup. Anyone, please respond. The message played again and again, lost in deep space, until someone heard it. The Zarnak Empire was proud and powerful. Their ships were fast, their army strong. They ruled over 10 planets. When their sensors caught the human signal, they became curious. General Tokvar, leader of the Zarnak fleet, laughed when he heard the message. Humans, he said. Old, weak creatures. If they're alive, we'll crush them. He sent 5 warships to investigate the source of the signal. Their mission was simple: find the source, take control, and report back. The fleet entered the Earth zone. Black space, full of silence. No stars, no signs of life. One ship sent a final message. We are entering orbit of a small gray planet. No resistance. Beginning landing procedure. Then, nothing. The fleet vanished. The Galactic Council received a report: Zarnak fleet missing in human zone. Ambassador Renkal asked, "Aren't we sure it was humans?" "No other species ever lived there," replied the technician. Many thought it was a trap. Some said the signal must be broken. But one council member, an old, quiet alien named Virel, stood up. She looked at the others and said in a cold voice, "You all laugh. You all think they are gone. But I remember." "Remember what?" someone asked. She stared ahead. The last time someone made humans angry. The room went silent. Years ago, long before the peace, humans were attacked by a powerful alliance. 12 species joined together to destroy Earth. They believed humans were too aggressive, too dangerous. They thought they could wipe them out quickly. They were wrong. Humanity didn't die. They fought back with fury. Their ships burned across the stars like fire. Planets were erased. Entire species begged for peace. And then, silence. The humans vanished. No one knew where they went. Their systems were empty. No ships, no life signs. The galaxy thought they were gone forever. But now the signal was proof. They were still out there. 3 weeks after the Zarnak fleet disappeared, another message was received. This time it wasn't from Earth. It was from deep space, and it was human. "We warned you to stay away. You came anyway. Now we're awake." Across the galaxy, people froze. Children stopped playing. Traders paused their routes. Military leaders read the message again and again. Zarnak's homeworld locked down its cities. Their emperor ordered full defense mode. Too late. From the shadows of space, black ships appeared above the Zarnak capital. No one saw them arrive. No alarms were triggered. They just appeared. Sleek, silent, cold. Then they opened fire. No mercy, no warning. In 1 hour, the capital burned. Communications were cut. No survivors. The rest of the galaxy watched in fear. The humans had returned. But they didn't speak. They didn't answer messages. They didn't negotiate. They just acted. One by one, old enemies vanished. Planets went dark. Ships disappeared. Human technology was far more advanced than before. Smarter, faster, deadlier. The message played again. "You wanted to find us. Now we'll find you." From this moment, a new fear spread. Not of war, not of death, but of the humans who never forgot and never forgave. Dravek loved history. He was a scholar from the planet Veltrax, known for studying ancient wars and lost civilizations. He didn't believe the old stories about humans. To him, they were just myths, exaggerated tales from a time when the galaxy was wild. But when the Zarnak Empire vanished, everything changed. Dravek got permission to travel to Earth. "Be careful," his friend warned. "That planet is cursed." Dravek laughed. "There is no curse, only answers." The ship dropped out of hyperspace near Earth. The planet looked dead. Gray clouds covered the surface. No lights, no movement. Satellites were broken and floating like old bones. The air was cold and heavy with silence. The ship landed in what used to be a city. Dravek stepped out wearing a full protective suit. Dust swirled around him. Buildings were half buried, shattered, and rusted. Time had eaten everything. He found a sign, Washington, D.C. So this was once their capital, he said into his recorder. He walked carefully through broken streets until he found a sealed door, hidden under layers of ash and metal. It was marked, Earth Defense ARC HFY, Level 9. Authorized to personnel only. The door still had power. Dravek connected his tools and unlocked it. With a loud hiss, it opened. Inside, the lights flickered on. The air was dry and cold. Metal walls stretched deep underground. Screens lined the walls, showing nothing but static. Dravek moved slowly, scanning the room. He found a control panel and pressed a large red button. Suddenly, the screens came to life. Footage began to play. It showed Earth, not broken, not weak, but full of fire. Massive human fleets were flying through space. Armies in black armor marched across alien worlds. Explosions lit up the stars. Human soldiers fought without fear. Their enemies ran, screamed, begged. One video showed a human commander standing over a fallen alien leader. "We asked for peace," he said. "You answered with war. Now we answer back." Then a planet exploded. Dravek watched in horror. There were dozens of videos like this, each one worse than the last. Entire species were wiped out. Cities turned to ash. Planets burned. The humans didn't just win. They erased. Suddenly, a voice echoed through the archive. "Access detected. Archive now active." Dravek froze. "Visitor. Alien origin. Not authorized. Action. Observe and report." The screen shut off. A final message appeared on one wall. "They broke the peace. We broke the galaxy. We never forget. We never forgive." Dravek turned and ran. He barely made it out of the bunker before the doors slammed shut behind him. Alarms screamed inside. He sent a data package to the Galactic Council with one final voice note. "I saw everything. The stories were real. They didn't die. They waited. The fire is still burning." By the time his message reached the council, Dravek was already gone. His ship was found empty, floating in orbit. Inside was only his recorder, and a single human word carved into the wall. "Remember." Across the galaxy, fear returned. The council met in secret. Species once proud and powerful whispered the same name in fear: human. But no one knew where they were. No one knew how many were left. No one knew what they would do next. They only knew one thing: humanity was awake. And it remembered everything. On the peaceful planet of Varnus, a small girl named Lyra sat under the glowing sky. Her eyes were wide with curiosity. She looked up at her grandfather, a wise old alien named Urin, and asked, "Grandfather, is it true that humans once ruled the stars?" Urin didn't answer at first. He looked up at the stars, so calm, so beautiful. But he knew, behind that beauty there were memories. Dark ones. Long ago, Urin began softly, there was a war that no one speaks of anymore. A war so terrible, most records were destroyed. Whole libraries erased. Even the Galactic Council does not keep details. Lyra leaned in. Why? What happened? Urin's eyes became hard. Because we made a mistake. A big one. Years ago, before the peace, the galaxy feared one species above all: humans. They didn't start wars for fun. They didn't conquer for power. But if someone attacked them, they responded with something worse than war. They responded with rage. Urin's brother, Commander Talon, had served in the fleet that once fought against Earth. Back then, a great alliance of alien races decided that humans were growing too fast. Too dangerous. So they joined forces to destroy human colonies. They thought humans wouldn't fight back. They thought wrong. Urin remembered the day his brother returned, broken, scared, silent. He never spoke about what he saw, Urin said. But I read his journal after he died. He opened an old dusty box and pulled out a thin book with burned edges. Inside were messy notes, scared notes. Words like, "Their weapons think for themselves. They let us flee, then followed us home. They smiled when they fought." One line repeated again and again, "We shouldn't have touched Earth." Lyra asked, "But if humans were so strong, why did they disappear?" Urin nodded slowly. They didn't disappear. They just stepped back. After they won, they erased their presence. No ships, no signals, nothing. The galaxy celebrated peace. But deep down, the oldest races knew it wasn't real peace. It was fearful silence. Now that silence had broken. First, the Zarnak fleet vanished. Then Earth's archive opened. Now strange messages echoed through the stars, short, sharp, cold. "We warned you. You came too close. Now we remember." Across planets, old war veterans woke in the night screaming. On merchant ships, travelers whispered rumors. Humans are back. They have new ships, silent ones. They don't take prisoners anymore. One trader told a story. He'd passed by an empty moon station, cold and quiet. On his scanner, he saw a single human symbol glowing on the surface. "Do not follow." He turned his ship and fled. He never returned. Another ship found an abandoned station. Inside, no bodies, no blood, just a message on every screen. "This is not your galaxy anymore." Back on Varnus, Lyra looked scared. "Grandfather, will they come here?" Urin looked at her and spoke the truth. "No, not unless someone makes the same mistake." He paused. "But if we ever forget what they are capable of, if someone angers them again," his voice became low, "then there will be no warning, no second chance, just fire." Lyra hugged her grandfather tightly. She didn't fully understand, but she knew one thing now. Humans weren't just stories. They were real. And they were watching. In the deep dark, beyond the edge of maps, a fleet floated silently. Black ships, no lights, no signals, just silence. Inside, humans watched the stars. They had names, they had targets, and one by one, they were coming back. The Dravan Empire was rising. They were young, bold, and hungry for power. Their emperor, Kael-Ra, believed the galaxy had grown soft. Too peaceful, too scared. When he heard the stories of humans, he laughed. "Coast tales for children," he said. "If they ever existed, they are long gone. Weak things hiding in shadows." His advisors warned him. They erased the Zarnak. They burned worlds in silence. But Kael-Ra did not listen. He wanted to prove his strength. He chose the wrong target. The Dravans launched a massive campaign. They sent mining ships, soldiers, and science teams into the sector once marked human territory. They tore down the old warning satellites floating in space. They placed their own flags on the moons. Kael-Ra declared proudly, "This space now belongs to the Dravan Empire." For a while, nothing happened. Weeks passed. No sign of humans. The Dravans began to laugh at the old stories. "Cowards," they said. They fled like shadows. Then something changed. It started small. One mining team went silent. Their last message: "We found something underground. A door. It's opening." Then silence. Another ship disappeared near Europa. Security footage showed a dark shape moving across the stars. No engines, no sound, just moving. Then more reports came in. Ships vanishing. Outposts destroyed. The only sign left behind, scorch marks and a single word burned into metal: return. Panic began to spread through the Dravon Empire. Kael-Ra still refused to believe. "Accidents," he said. "Sabotage, not humans." So he sent a full battle fleet, 20 ships, to destroy whatever was in the zone. They never returned. Only one escape pod floated back, drifting silently. Inside was the fleet admiral, burned, shaking, half alive. He whispered one sentence before dying: "We never saw them, until it was too late." The Galactic Council watched from a distance. They didn't help the Dravons. They remembered what happened last time. They knew the signs. One council member said softly, "The fire rises again." Dravon Prime, the homeworld, was now surrounded by defense satellites, warships, and ground cannons. Everyone expected an attack. But none came. For 3 days, the sky stayed clear. And then, on the 4th day, a shadow blocked the sun. One ship. Just one. Black, silent, huge. It hovered above Dravon Prime like a mountain floating in the sky. No weapons fired. No message was sent. Just silence. People on the ground stared in fear. Some ran, some prayed, some simply froze. Then slowly, the ship opened. Hundreds of small drones rained down. They didn't attack. They scanned. Every city, every base, every weak point. Then the drones flew back up. The ship closed and vanished. Kael-Ra stood before his people. "We will not be afraid. We are the future. We will destroy them." The crowd cheered, but it was a lie. They were all afraid. That night, every screen on Dravon Prime lit up with a human message: "We let you explore, not conquer. You were warned. Now you will learn." The next morning, Dravon Prime's moon exploded. Not cracked, not damaged, gone. Turned to dust in seconds. The explosion echoed across space like a warning bell. Kael-Ra begged the council for help. They refused. "No one helps those who wake the fire," said the Varnus ambassador. Back on his homeworld, Kael-Ra finally understood the truth. Humans weren't hiding. They were watching, and now they were judging. In the shadows of space, human fleets moved in silence. Old enemies had returned, and humanity was ready. Not for war, for punishment. No one had heard from Earth in over 200 years. No ships, no messages, no trade. Many thought the planet had died. Some thought it was hiding. But now, the galaxy knew. Earth had never been silent. It had been watching, listening, preparing. And now, Earth was ready. Across the galaxy, strange things began to happen. Old satellites, long thought dead, suddenly turned on. Buried machines under forgotten colonies activated. And most frightening of all, people changed. On the planet Corallus 7, a peaceful farming world, a woman named Kayla was feeding her son when she suddenly froze. Her eyes turned silver. Her voice became flat. Directive activated. Code Earth Prime. She stood up, walked to a hidden panel in her home, and opened it. Inside was a black case. She opened it, and inside was a human beacon. She pressed the button. Across the galaxy, thousands like her did the same. They were sleepers, planted long ago, hidden in other species, in other governments, even in the council. They looked like aliens. They lived like aliens. But they were human, deeply modified, perfectly hidden, until Earth called them. Now they all moved with one purpose: reactivate Earth's reach, reclaim what was lost. The Galactic Council panicked. "How many are there?" One ambassador shouted. "We don't know." Another replied, "They could be anywhere. Why now?" Then a soft voice answered, Virel, the old ambassador who had once warned them. "Because we ignored the past, and now the past is walking toward us." Earth's signal spread like wildfire. Human ships began to appear, not through hyperspace, but through something new. A silent jump, instant, unstoppable. They didn't use words. They used silence. They arrived above old colonies and took control in minutes. Not a shot fired. All systems shut down. Defense codes overwritten. Cities blinked and went dark. And then came a message. Do not resist. This is not conquest. This is correction. On Dravon Prime, Emperor Kael-Ra tried to escape. He boarded a secret shuttle surrounded by guards. But just before launch, the screen lit up. A human face. Cold, calm, eyes like stone. "You broke the rule. You entered the fire." Kael-Ra shouted, "We didn't know. We didn't believe." The human's face didn't change. "And now you understand." The screen turned off. The shuttle exploded. No human ships were seen nearby. Back on Earth, the planet looked the same, gray, silent, cold. But under the surface, it was alive. Massive control rooms buzzed with quiet energy. Hundreds of humans moved without speaking. Each action was perfect, efficient. In the center of it all stood a woman, Commander Ellen Shaw. She watched holograms of every planet, every fleet, every signal. Her voice was soft but firm. "Begin Phase 2. Rebuild the old gates. Restore lost links. Reactivate Mars and Titan." A soldier asked, "And the enemies?" Ellen looked at him. "What enemies?" He nodded and walked away. Humanity wasn't returning to the galaxy to fight. It was taking back what was always theirs. Not through war, through presence. On distant planets, children asked their parents, "Are the humans coming?" The answer was always the same. "They're already here." The council gathered in silence. No one dared speak against Earth now. One member finally asked, "Should we negotiate?" Another said, "With what?" They don't ask, they decide. And then the screens flickered. A message from Earth. Only 2 words. "We're home." In the silence of space, human ships drifted like shadows. But they were not hiding. They were guarding. They were watching. And they would not leave again. The stars were quiet again. But it wasn't peace. It was fear. The kind of fear that lives in silence, in whispers, in the eyes of leaders who once ruled proudly, but now bow their heads. Because humanity had returned. Not loudly, not with fire, but like a ghost in the dark, unseen, unstoppable, unforgettable. And somewhere, hidden in the shadows of forgotten space, one last empire remained. They were once proud, arrogant, powerful. They had many names. But now, none remember them. Not because they fell, but because humanity made sure they were erased. It began with a simple mistake. One of their scout ships fired on a silent human probe, thinking it was dead. They were wrong. Within days, every communication tower they had went dark. Their colonies vanished. Their fleets melted in orbit without a single shot fired. Their leaders tried to send a message. It never reached anyone. Because by then, humanity had already decided. They knew the warnings. They chose to ignore them. They will not be remembered. Across the galaxy, something terrifying happened. It wasn't war. It was removal. Total, clean, final. Every record of the enemy empire, data, history, names, even language, was deleted. Not just by humans, by the galaxy itself. Every race that once dealt with them was visited. Every library was corrected. Every digital file was overwritten. Even spoken names were lost. No one remembers what they were called. Not even the council. One ambassador asked, "Why go so far?" A human reply came cold and final. Because they mocked the memory, they stepped into the fire. So now the fire will forget them. They were the last, and now they are no one. On Earth, the command center went quiet. Commander Ellen Shaw stood before a massive screen. Every star system the humans had reclaimed was marked in white. One remained black. She pressed a button. The black system faded, wiped clean. Nothing remained. "Final target complete," a soldier said. "They are gone." Ellen nodded. "The galaxy is warned. Let this be the last time." Years passed. The galaxy changed. Humanity did not rule, but they did not have to. No one challenged them now. They built silent gates, opened trade, even helped restore broken worlds. But always from a distance, always watching. Children learned about the old wars, but one lesson was always the same. Never wake the fire. Never test the silence. And never, ever forget what happened to the ones whose name is no longer spoken. In the dark edge of space, where that forgotten empire once lived, there is now only empty sky. No ruins, no echoes. Only a single metal sign floating alone. It has one word: erased. The galaxy moved on. But Earth never forgot. Because humans don't forgive easily. And when they do, they never forget the cost.